What's going on, YouTube? It's Alex, Water Wellness, back with another video. Today's video, I want to talk about my battle with PTSD. PTSD isn't something that just military men suffer from. Anybody can suffer from PTSD. Male, female, anyone. And the research I've done shows that females are at a higher risk of suffering from PTSD than males. That's just the research I've done, but it doesn't matter who you are. If you went through a horrifying experience or witnessed a terrifying experience, there's a high chance that you're suffering or you can suffer from PTSD. But in today's video, I want to talk about how my PTSD came to be. My platoon was deployed to Kandahar, Afghanistan as a route clearance platoon. We were combat engineers. So our mission was to clear the roads, clear the routes, so NATO troops and Kandahar Afghan civilians could maneuver around without having to worry about IEDs being in the way. And during this 9-month deployment, we found some IEDs, we hit some IEDs, and unfortunately, I hit 2 of them. The first couple months of the deployment was an absolute snooze fest. I mean, it seemed like a joke. I was asking myself, why am I here? What are we doing here? There was nothing. There was no threat going on. Nothing was happening at all. And then after a few months went by, one mission, we were on a mission, heading back to the base, and I heard a muffled poof. And I turned around and looked, and the EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal Team, was with us. Their truck hit an IED. There was dust. There was smoke everywhere. And that's when we realized it was real. We realized it's not a game. It's time to buckle down. A few months after that, another truck got hit. And everybody in both of these trucks made it. They have all their limbs. They all survived. It's just unfortunate that they had to go through that experience. So at this point, we know things are real. It's a threat. It's a threat outside the wire. So we're on guard 24/7. We were on guard 24/7 to begin with. Kind of got a little bit complacent because it was just like months going on, and we were just driving for 10 hours a day at about 2 miles per hour. So we were just like, what's going on? And then EOD got hit. Another one of our trucks got hit, and then April 30th. I remember the day I was in the gunning seat. I was using the Crow system. I was in a Buffalo. So I was sitting in the gunner seat. The gun's up there. I'm sitting in the seat. It's a remote control system. We're out. We're driving. We're going like 2 miles an hour. And I'm just looking out the window, just looking at my camera. And all of a sudden, boom! Just this huge explosion. It was so loud. I jumped up out of my seat, hit my head up off the roof. It felt like the truck lifted up a little bit. Everybody in that truck, we all made it. We all have our limbs. That's where my back got messed up, initially the first IED. After that IED, that was April 30th. We were leaving in July. Things went smooth from April to July. It was just regular, go out, do your mission, and we made it all back. No problems, no issues. July 2nd, we went out on a mission the day before my birthday, and I was driving this time, the same truck. And I'll never forget it. I will literally remember this until the day I die. I remember driving, and there was this Afghan and his kid on one of these bikes. It was like a cart, but it drove. They just have a bunch of different stuff over there. So, and I remember looking out the window, the windshield, and seeing them, and he was just staring at me. I mean, we're going very slow, and we have the 2 Huskies in front of us, which are the vehicles we use that have the GPS panels on the side to find and detect the IEDs. And then that's when the truck I was in, the Buffalo, would come with the big arm, remote control arm, and dig for the IED and, detach the wires and all that. So we're driving, the Huskies are in front of us, And this Afghan guy with his little kid, they're just both looking up at us. Really, it looked like they were just staring at me, honestly. And I don't even think we went 10 feet after we saw those people, and the truck, boom, went up again. The first time it happened, everything in my brain was going so quick, kind of like a car accident, how everything, you think about everything in like a matter of a second. That's how it happened again in this one. But I had already hit an IED, so when I went up and hit it, I knew that we had hit an IED. I just didn't know how bad it was going to be. It was a massive, massive explosion from what everybody else saw, what everybody else heard, and us being in the truck, it was completely different than the first one. EOD said it was a 140-pound IED that was beneath us, that hit us, which is huge. Obviously, there were way bigger ones in history, I'm sure. It lifted a 66,000-pound vehicle off the ground. It was a pretty big explosion. And we were on a dirt road with two, fallings on the side. Like it was a dirt road with two hills on the side. So we went up in the air, came down, I hit my head again, nothing but pain in my back, pain in my leg. I thought I lost my leg. I didn't even want to look down, but I did look down, and my leg was still there. I must have just knocked it off the steering wheel or something, but the first thing I did was look around. We all made sure everybody was okay. And I put the Buffalo in park, like in brake. I put the air pressure brakes on. That way the truck wouldn't roll down the hill and we'd do a flip and it'd just be more chaos. So that happened. And the scariest part of this whole thing was when the dust settled, I looked out the window to my left and I saw nothing but just the Afghans just farming away. They were just digging and digging. After a explosion just went off in front of them, they're just digging and digging like nothing happened. That absolutely scared me. Like, what is going on? And that one really shook me up. It wasn't like the first one. It was a lot different. It was a bigger explosion. It was just more nerve-wracking. It was very scary. It was very scary. Fortunately, we all made it. All of us made it home. Every single one of us. But when I got home, like I said in one of my other videos, I was a complete useless soldier. I was absolutely useless. My back was so messed up, I couldn't even stand in formation for like 5 minutes. So all I did was drink. The nightmares started to come. And when I got put into the barracks, I was put next to the division where the cannon would shoot off every morning, even on the weekend. So obviously I'd be in formation, ready to go, and the cannon would go off on weekdays for PT, which I would never do PT. I would just show up for formation. But on like a Saturday morning, that cannon goes off at 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m., and I jump out of bed. It scared the shit out of me. That cannon would wake me up every morning if I had nothing going on. And I was absolutely terrified every time. Every single time. There would be times where I would try to set my alarm and get up earlier before that cannon would go off, because being sound asleep with that huge bang going would just ruin my day. It would absolutely terrify me. And the nightmares that I was having, and this goes on to this day. The nightmares, being afraid of loud, sudden bang sounds, that still affects me to this day. The anxiety, but the dreams, because I was gonna say the dreams then, how they were, they're the same how they are now. So the dreams that I have are so vivid, so realistic. I'll be driving in a car, and I know it in my head that I'm not in Afghanistan, like I'm in Massachusetts or wherever. I'm driving in a car, the setting is where I'm living, and then like a holographic card or something, how you look, how it's like one, and then you turn it, and then it's just a different thing like that. That's how my dream is. Like all of a sudden the setting will just transform into Afghanistan, what I can remember from Kandahar. It'll just be all desert, it'll be all mountains, and then all of a sudden I hear the incoming, incoming, incoming. And when I hear that, either rockets start hitting or the car blows up. And when the car blows up, when I tell you I have never experienced something so more realistic, like so realistic in a dream in my life, it's unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable. It feels like I got blown up again. It sounds like I got blown up again. I can't even explain it. So that still happens to this day, but eventually when I got out of the Army, they put me on Ativan, and they put me on Prazosin for nightmares. And eventually, like I said in my other videos, that just it was good for a few months. It helped out, it really did. And then I just started to overindulge on the Ativan and got into Percocets, and eventually wasn't even taking the Prazosin. And it was just a shit show. I was just completely numbing myself to the point where I didn't even have any nightmares because I slept so solid because I was so knotted out. Like I didn't have any anxiety because I was so drugged up. I wasn't worried about driving in a car on a regular basis because I was so drugged up. I didn't have any of those worries. I started to lose myself in the drugs because I didn't want to feel that way anymore. But now, since I've gotten the help that I needed, I'm able to live my life without drugs and live my life without suffering with this PTSD how I was. I'm able to manage it so much better, so much better. The nightmares are still there, driving in a car still gives me anxiety, and the loud sudden sounds are still there. But I've come to a point where I'm able to live with it without having to numb myself and drown myself in drugs and liquor to be able to cope with it. It took a lot of time, and nobody else can do it but yourself. You got to be able to want to get that help for whatever is going on. I can definitely say, as of right now in my life, things are way better than what they were before. And I'm so much happier now and so much healthier. I still suffer from PTSD every day, but it is manageable. And it gets to a point where you can make it manageable. It's my motto is just take it one day at a time. Don't think 10 days in the future, 20 or 30 or like 2 months from now. Think about today. Think about right now. What are you gonna do right now to make yourself better? What are you gonna do right now? And then when you wake up tomorrow morning, what are you gonna do that day? What are you gonna do to succeed, to make things better? Don't think about months from now or years from now. You gotta think about today. And that's what I do. I take it one day at a time. That's really all I have for this video, guys. I really just wanted to share my experience with PTSD and what I was going through at its most severe point, and where I'm at now with it. And I'm pretty happy with the results of where I'm at now with it, how I was able to bring it to where it is. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. If you guys want to see more content like this, please subscribe. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Much love.